wonderful.
Yeah. They're saying if you don't get it by Friday, call. They're saying by Friday.
My voting dog right there is...
Do you need any information on the propositions or on 139?
What if I don't?
Since 19...
Sounds like I was
4 pages on my ballot?
Front and back, so 2 front and back.
I've got you.
Run around the neighborhood and incite anger
It's very important.
Republican.
Especially
because we don't do any voiceovers. So basically, like, people need to kind of understand what you're talking.
Because now federally that right is not protected, right? And so to keep this from continuing to take resources, take time to try to protect women and protect families, we need to enshrine this in the Constitution here. Otherwise, it will be every 2 years we're voting to keep basic health care for women and for families. I've worked in labor and delivery, I've worked in emergency medicine, I've worked in medical surgical, so I've seen like a lot of different perspectives. And you know, providers are afraid, both nurses and doctors in these states with these bans, because you know medically what the right thing is to do, but will that hold up in court? These are very real conversations that are being had behind the scenes when someone is seeking emergency abortion care, right? And well, you know, these care deserts that are being created, that's factual. Women that are dying from these abortion bans for not getting care for miscarriage, that's factual, so you can't separate them. It's no longer about trying to convince people, oh, like morally this is how you should feel about it. Factually, these bans are killing women. I think there's no room to be neutral anymore. We have too much at stake. And like I said, you know, I'm a childless cat lady by the definition of J.D. Vance, but I would like to not be someday. I would like to have children, but the outcome of this election will affect if I choose to have children or not in this country.
Well, I stopped because I wanted this button to put on my cat's collar. The initiative is something that gives back to women their rights to their own bodies. And these are decisions that should be made between a husband and wife, significant other and the pregnant person, and the doctors. And it's so important that we do that. And it's just absolutely essential that this passes and goes through.
Yeah, we have 3 that we're saying no on, and then the rest are yes if you want. Or
But she taped on things. I can't remember exactly.
And then we set up lots of tables. We had them all over Tucson.
Good. You're welcome. Thank you for voting.
Things happen. I don't want my granddaughters in a position where they're going to be turned away from a hospital because something didn't go right for one reason or another, and it's not under their control.
I'll be voting against the abortion thing just because, you know, I'm pro-life. I believe in the sanctity of life. I believe in exceptions, much like President Trump, but I do think that we need to protect life whenever we can.
So we use a lot of different things to talk to voters. Probably one of the most important is what we call literature. So this is just a small piece of paper that gives the voter information that they need. So this is our literature for Prop 139. And there's a lot of voters who sometimes feel like their vote doesn't matter. There are so many people who vote, it is decided by another state or a different issue. But having a ballot measure here in Arizona that will directly change our Constitution in regards to abortion access is more direct action than you typically have on your ballot. And so it is mobilizing people who were on the more progressive side, would vote for Democrats, but don't always believe that their votes matter. This is really helping to excite and organize those folks.
Proposition 139, the Arizonans for Abortion Access, is a little bit longer than one page with a very short budget. It's often just framed as Democrats versus Republicans, but I think within the Republican Party you see a broad spectrum of views on the topic of abortion. And generally, it's also an issue that's about government interference, right? Pregnancy regulation means that those people who can get pregnant, their lives and their futures are subject to more state interference and state surveillance. And I think that that's an issue that everyone in Arizona cares about and wants to talk about. And I think that the abortion measure being on the ballot could hypothetically help the Democratic Party because it is an issue that people feel passionately about. They want women to have the right to choose. They want the freedom from government interference. However, it's not a guarantee, and I think that the polls show that it's much more complicated, that it's a more divisive issue within each party. And so it will be, for Arizonans, part of their political calculation, but it is not going to be the thing that decides whether Democrats or Republicans win the state of Arizona.